Welcome to Week 10, Professional Development, or as I call it, Investing in Your Future. We have a lot of different little items we're going to cover today. So this topic is a very important topic, one that is near and dear to my heart. It always was since I was 19 years old and getting out of high school and moving through this profession. And now, of course, today, being in the training and learning business, it's very near and dear to my heart. If you've been following along through this entire series, I know you believe in investing in your future, and good for you. Ongoing learning and development is in the forefront for administrative stars, and the key word is ongoing. As good as you are today, you can't rest on your laurels, and I can't. Your future at work is going to depend on one thing, and that is you owning your career and investing in yourself. Later through this series, we have a chapter called I'm My Own Career Manager and I'm Heady with Power. So you'll get more information on this later, but here's what I'd like to share with you today. The idea of there's always something new to learn if you have an open mind. So first of all, here are the tips for this day. 1, use every tool that is available to you, including people. It's just all around you. We do have the internet. We have books. We have our iPods. We have CDs. We have DVDs. There's all kinds of programs. There's people around you. The newspapers, magazines, periodicals. It's almost overwhelming, actually. But the idea is, if you have an open mind every single day, you can be learning something new. There's no excuse for us not to learn. You can't say, I don't have any money to pay for school, because you don't have to go to school to learn. You don't have to have a college degree to learn, or you don't have to go to college, let me say, to learn. Number 2, find mentors. I've had mentors since I was 19 years old. When I was in the administrative profession, I always looked up to the assistants who worked for the vice presidents and presidents in the organizations. But I also had assistants who I just admired. It didn't mean that they had to work for a higher up. There were just great assistants around me, and they were willing to mentor me. I also had many executives who were my mentors. I can't think of a better mentor than an executive. And to this day, I still have mentors. Number 3 is to invest in yourself. It's really interesting that most often, when someone can't get support from their organization to attend a program or to join an association or to subscribe to a newsletter or an e-zine or maybe a paid webinar, they'll say to me, well, my manager said no, so I guess that's the end of it. And for me, that's pretty sad, because the idea of when you invest in yourself, it's something you take with you the rest of your life. When you learn, when you grow, when you read good books, when you listen to programs, when you watch good educational programs, and you absorb it, because it's not just taking in information, you have to do something with it. You're investing in your future, and that is something no one can ever take away from you. I mean, think about it. What does it say about a person when they're not willing to spend $20 on their own education, on their own career? Do you know what kind of a message that sends? It basically says, I don't feel I'm worthy enough to invest in myself. That's pretty sad, as I said. I want you to remember this. Your job's not always going to maybe be there. Your company may not always be there. Job security lies within you. Your future relies on you. Landing on your feet relies on you. Excelling to the top relies on you. It's all about you. So look for ways that you can keep investing in yourself. Number 4, you need to set goals. That's part of your professional development, and your goals need to mesh with your executive's goals and your department goals and your organizational goals. I know for many of you, you're already having to do that within your organization. But the key word is they have to mesh. So look in, are yours meshing, in other words? And for those of you who aren't doing that yet, You're not required to do that in your organization. I'd like to encourage you as having that as your next step to administrative excellence. Now for your activity, an activity suggestion. I actually have two for you. One is, if you have Inner Circle Assistant, turn to page 193, and it talks about being president of your career. And it goes on to page 194. There are some different activities that you can do. For the rest of you, this is what I would like you to do. I'm going to take the ideas from page 194, and we actually do this in a workshop as well, is I want you to think of yourself as a company. If you were your own business. Now, a company has assets and a company has liabilities. Companies have to know who their competition is and how they're going to kind of beat their competition or be the leader. So I want you to see yourself as a company. Make two columns. One is going to list your assets. What are the things that you're really good at? Where do you really excel? And then you're going to have a column called liabilities, and that's where you're going to list 4 to 5 what I call gap areas. What are the areas you need to develop? What are the areas you need to work on? And this is actually a good idea to do now because we're in week 10 and we have 16 more weeks to go, so you may find there are areas that you want to develop that we're going to cover over the next 16 weeks. Then the question is, what will you do to transform your liabilities into assets? When a company has a liability or liabilities, they just don't sit there and say, well, that's the liability, okay, that's the end of it. Again, as a business owner, we have to say, what are we weak? Where do we need to grow? Where do we need to excel? And then we write a plan for it. It's the same thing with us. Just remember, investing in you, whether it's time, whether it's money, resources, whatever, is the best investment you will ever make. And I do want to encourage you, investing in a $20 book, if you just want to buy BICA, which covers a multitude of topics and competencies, you will get the best return on your investment for $20. Thank you again. I want you to have a great week, and I hope to see you soon.